Whoa, wait, now I'm confused.
Wait, what?
Listen, America is not a country. America is a personality disorder with a flag. Because only in this place do we get a story where a federal immigration supervisor is out here professionally hunting illegal people, then allegedly goes home and is like, Alexa, play Despacio. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up, ladies and gentlemen. A Customs and Border Protection supervisor, yes, CBP, the agency inside DHS that works the border, has been charged for allegedly harboring an illegal person at his residence and providing support, transportation while knowing her status.
It doesn't seem safe.
While the American people are thinking you're out here really doing things like this.
Chaos in a Chicago neighborhood after Border Patrol agents arrested an undocumented construction worker named Luis Villegas. His family told CNN affiliate WLS that the 35-year-old father was working at a nearby construction project before the arrest.
Yeah, we understand that a lot of illegal people who are undocumented, illegal alien, illegal resident, whatever you want to call them, illegally inside of these United States of America, work on a lot of these construction sites. Now, they would like to have you to believe that these people are doing a great job. But again, I do and I know that they're taking jobs away from America.
How embarrassing.
And I don't mean this taking jobs away. They're being offered jobs. Let me be politically and just flat out telling you the truth. They have been providing these jobs and opportunities because they are getting paid at a lower rate, no less. But let me break this down even more so for you guys. As it was already stated that Anderson Wilkins' alleged romantic relationship with this woman caught the eye of authorities last spring. Authorities later received information indicating that the woman was Wilkinson's niece, you nasty, according to a criminal complaint. Now, that is the rhetoric they're giving online, that somehow this was his niece and not just somebody he was harboring who was an illegal immigrant that he had indeed sexual relationships with. So while we think he's out here running the streets because he's been a CBP agent since 2001, so he knows exactly what he was doing and exactly that, again, given the allegations, that this was indeed illegal. But that didn't stop him now because, again, this is what the reports are actually stating.
A U.S. federal immigration officer has been charged with harboring an undocumented woman in Texas. Authorities say the woman, believed to be his niece, entered the U.S. on a tourist visa and was living with him and his minor child. Law enforcement alleges Wilkinson knew of her illegal status, provided housing and financial support, and may have helped transport her across border checkpoints.
So again, if these allegations are true, he was very complicit in the actions he was taking and saving his girlfriend, then reclaimed to be his niece, so to speak, that he was indeed having a sexual relationship. Boy, you crazy. And the plot twist. The relationship was initially described by prosecutors as romantic, but investigators later identified her as his niece.
Magic.
So either this is a romantic relationship, family support, both, or the most cursed. Who's who game ever created? But either way, the hypocrisy is screaming because the same enforcement machine that wants to treat every illegal person like an existential threat, in my opinion, when we say that, it could be hyperbolic, but they're illegally in the country. They do not belong here. But somehow this CPP agent made space in the living room for one. That's America, not policy, but performance. Now, let's be clean and accurate because I don't do cable news foaming. Here's what federal prosecutors again allege, that the officers, Andreas Wilkins, 52, a CBP supervisor in Laredo, Texas, and the woman, Elva Edith Garcia Vallejo, entered the U.S. on a non-immigrant visa in August of 23 and later overstayed. And the complaint alleges that Wilkins knew her status and still allowed her and her child to live with him, provided financial support, and let her use vehicles registered in his name. And prosecutors also allege he transported her through Border Patrol checkpoints. Now, if convicted, he faces up to 10 years and up to $250,000 in fine. So everybody yelling, deport them all, understand something very closely here. This case is not about whether immigration laws exist. This case is about who gets treated like a criminal and who gets treated like a complicated situation. I'm in a complicated relationship.
Lies, lies, lies.
Because when it's your cousin, it's family values. When it's somebody else, it's national security. You see how that dichotomy of hypocrisy and a contradiction actually works? So let's talk about the word that they also love, harboring, because under federal law 8 U.S.C. Okay, 1324, harboring is part of a set of crimes that include bringing in, transporting, concealing, or shielding an illegal person from detection. And here's the part people don't understand. That statute has a long history of being interpreted broadly. Courts have disagreed for decades on what counts as harboring and what intent level is required. Historically, the U.S. even criminalized harboring the same way early on, and by 1917, Congress had made a crime to harbor any illegal not duly admitted. Then the moderate immigration system gets consolidated under the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952, the spine of today's framework. Translation, what does this mean? America has been building a deportation first architecture for over a century, and that architecture doesn't just hit bad guys. It hit households, employees, churches, landlords, families, whole communities. And that's exactly why this case is so revealing to me, because Wilkins isn't some random civilian who didn't know any better, like, just stay here, they won't get you if you stay here. He's allegedly a man who built a career inside the enforcement system, that allegedly decided the system shouldn't apply at home. You're like, but are you trying to say that illegal immigrants should stay inside of America, Black Logic? Absolutely not. I'm pointing out the hypocrisy. The same man, the same system that goes after illegal people are also harboring illegal people. It's the same thing I've been stating for the past 5 or 6 years. The same country are allowing millions, whether it be the liberals or the conservatives, or you guys know what I'm talking about. The liberals let them in, but the conservatives are the ones who are hiring them on the farms, on the border, the meat packing plant, the agriculture, you name it, they're doing it. They're both complicit on what they're doing here. Both are making hand over fist, and they just have the people wanting to choose right or left, Democrat or Republican, liberal or conservative. You choose, but you still lose. You guys know what I'm talking about. That's not an accident. This is based upon entitlement. Now, I want you to notice the timing and the vibe of the country right now. Immigration enforcement has been treated like a reality show. We see live raised dramatic footage, agents walking like they're in a video game cutscene, press conference with phrases like worst of the worst, and politicians acting like deportation is a DLC expansion. And in that climate, courts matter. In September of 2025, the Supreme Court lifted a federal injunction that had limited certain immigration enforcement tactics in LA, an injunction that borrowed detentions based solely on factors like apparent race, ethnicity, accent, speech, job type, and or location. The court's move was widely criticized as enabling racial profiling. Now, hear me carefully. That does not mean the law now officially allows racism. I'm not stating that.
Sure, yeah.
But it does mean the guardrails got looser, and the critics argue the practical result is a green light for sweeps that disproportionately hit certain communities. So we're in an era where enforcement gets politically rewarded for being aggressive, while this man allegedly had an illegal person in his home. And that's why I call it theater, because the point isn't law. The point is who the law is for. Now, if we bring this all the way home, because again, this platform doesn't stop at the headline. This story is about the American pattern. America has a long history of doing this thing when it consumes what it wants from a group: labor, culture, style, music, bodies, aesthetics, and then criminalize the actual people when it's time to pay or share power or honor the humanity. That's not a feeling. We're referencing foundational Black Americans and how the system treat our people and how the system have been treating our people. That is a historical rhythm of a white supremacist society. And again, just so all the races don't jump out all at once, not all non-Black people are not racist. Again, let me repeat it even more so. Not all non-Black people are racist. But when I give you the statistics, whether it be from the Department of Justice or the FBI, Majority of violent crimes, a majority of hate crimes in America are over 52% based on race. And out of that 52%, 48% are anti-Black. Look at the numbers. Don't take my word for it.
Go Google that shit. See what I'm talking about.
And immigration enforcement, especially in the modern era, is part of what legal scholars call crime immigration, the fusion of criminal law style policing while immigration law consequences. Meaning immigration stopped acting like paperwork and started acting like probation. And once the system becomes policing, it inherits policing Otis addiction. Discretion. Who gets discretion? Who gets the benefit of the doubt? Who gets we're still investigating? Who gets handcuffed on a curb on the evening news? Because in America, the country we all know and love, the law doesn't land evenly. It lands where power tells it to land. And when somebody with power breaks the rule, it becomes complicated, does it not? When somebody without power breaks the rule, it becomes a threat. That's why this case feels like a metaphor. A federal supervisor allegedly living with an illegal person is basically the enforcement system saying out loud, we don't hate undocumented illegal alien from other country. We don't hate these people. We hate certain illegal people, and we love them when we want them. That's assimilation politics in one sentence.
Fact.
Now let's hit the part that makes both parties start sweating. Money, that is, because the U.S. economy is addicted to immigrant labor, documented and undocumented, especially in industries like construction and manufacturing. And look at what's happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. A San Francisco federal study reported this month that the decline in unauthorized illegal immigration has been linked to slower job growth with notable effects in construction and manufacturing, which can ripple into housing supplies and affordability. So the political message says less immigration, better for workers. But real world labor markets often say less immigration equal labor shortages and slow building. But in my personal opinion, Americans, Black, white, Asian, Pacific, Islander, Hispanic, and anything and everything else need to be training up on a lot of these jobs of people getting deported and filling these job positions, because we still have a high rate of unemployment in America.
Yes.
That doesn't mean open the borders. It means that the economy is built with contradictions, and politicians sell you simple stories because simple stories are easier to campaign on. All the money that they fork out for illegal immigrants, whether it be the Democrats or Republicans. Oh, no, it's not the Republicans doing it. It's the Democrats. Well, we go back enough in time, you'll see that both have played a role in both funding, as we know, illegal immigration. And that's the deeper punchline of this case. Even inside the enforcement system, people probably behave like they know immigration isn't a cartoon villain. They act like they know real life is messy. But publicly, they still perform the tough guy theater. Here's another piece of people being ignored. Aggressive immigration enforcement can reduce trust in institution and lower cooperation with police, which can affect public safety outcomes. When we think about and when we talk about these things, you can also create silence. You can create ghost towns of non-cooperation. And that's why enforcement policies can't be contradictions. It has to be measurable, accountable, and constitutional, or the only thing you'll get is chaos. So at the end, what does this case really reveal? The system is aggressive with the public. The system is flexible for insiders. The country is addicted to the labor, but politically allergic to the people. And enforcement is often less about law and more about who gets targeted. And now this man is facing up to 10 years in prison. 10 years. This is not a oops, that's a life. So if you're watching this and you're the type who loves screaming, follow the law, then cool. Whether it be men in blue, women in blue, law enforcement, right, left, Democrat, Republican, we shall all be fighting. We shall all be shouting and fouting and protesting and celebrating when he goes to jail, when he goes to prison. Should people inside enforcement be held to a higher standard than the public? Because if the answer is no, then the badge is not public service. It's a costume. And if the answer is yes, then let's stop pretending this is about protecting America and admit it's about protecting a hierarchy. Welcome to America, ladies and gentlemen. And we don't perform outrage here. We're just diagnosing the power.